just like the game and they like to compete in the game. I mean, that's where the game really shines in competition. But that doesn't mean you have to take it super seriously. I think Ty just has fun with it, and he does really well. So they're kicking off the restart now on Toxicity, and that's a really good start there for Lars. Already getting the rail onto his opponent Ty. That's gonna allow him to basically bully his opponent off the next Mega and get the best position.
It's kind of funny because this is the exact start that Ty would have had last game. Railgun, Lightning Gun, Rocket Launcher, and obviously Ty didn't hit the Railgun because Lars was AFK at yellow, but you know, things have been switched around and now Lars is going to be feeling so comfortable. That's going to be a red armor for free. He can at this point deny Ty of everything. If he really wants to, he could push through with Lightning Gun, but I'm pretty sure he's just going to be happening with denying the items from a distance. And there comes another frag. He could let Ty in on Mega Health here though. Bit of a slip up.
Yeah, I mean, Lars had everything going for him at the start, and he's kind of having to rely on hitting some shots now, which is never the position you really want to find yourself in. You wanna have the shots matter as little as possible, which gives you a lot of space for errors on the execution. And here you go, good positioning there from Lars. Good rocket jump, and steal away the next yellow, and gets the frag as well. So good position here, and he's got a lot of stack left to work with. And if Ty doesn't do any damage here, it's gonna be looking really bad for him.
Yeah, I think this is really good for Lars as well because he's hit the two railguns that he really needed to hit. One right at the beginning of the game and one there to get the frag. And it's always nice in Quake when you start stringing together those railguns or you hit some early damage. You really do get the confidence and the momentum to push that on later on. Whereas if you're someone like Ty and you haven't gone so well off the start, sometimes you can be a little bit, let's say, apprehensive to force yourself into certain positions, particularly on Toxicity, which you can pretty much see your opponent at all times. But there comes another frag anyway, 3-0, yellow armor for Lars. Plenty of time before the Mega and the red. There is a possibility that Ty could get in on one of them, but the red armor's a death pit, and if he goes there, he's likely going to die. And the Mega health, well, that's going to be tough to get to because Lars has position there. So tough moments here for Ty, and that railgun's not going to help things, but this allows Lars to back up onto the Mega and dive down toward the red. Now, is Ty above? Yes, he is. In comes the drop down. This is ballsy, but all he's going to do is be able to steal it away. Lars does go down to 41 HP though, but look at the distance there with the lightning gun. Really good stuff here from Lars DDK.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see the drop down with the railgun there. I mean, it's a move that really sucks if he doesn't hit every single shot. He did do that though. He wasn't really connect with the follow up. So now we can see that, you know, as is Toxicity, if you don't make, you know, the kind of 2-3 attempts at aggression work, then your opponent's up and you're back to, you know, up a few frags and you're back to the start, and you can't just run into him again. You got to like try to time things well. And Ty's going to go for the LG here, but again, that's not really good angle for the LG. You know, Lars can easily block the line of sight. He can easily switch to rockets, and he's got so many options there. We saw him not take any damage basically. So Ty, that last frag shouldn't really have been an attempt at a fight, but I guess he's feeling a little bit desperate and just putting in the pressure where he can.
Yeah, I mean, he only had 40 points of health. He had a lot of armor, but yeah, obviously never going to work out. And Lars was fully aware. He saw the 225s weren't up, and you can see Lars is in control of the 225s as well, which is going to be really good as he tries to hold on to this 7 frag lead. And he's also picking up the armor. There's plenty of time again before the red armor. Ty has taken, well, one rocket too many there, and there's another one as well. Let's switch on to him just for a second. 67. Is he just going to come in anyway? It looks like he will do. Try and get more damage output before the red's picked up. But again, I mean, Ty has no idea when the 25 HP bubbles are up, and even just being AFK there, warp coming out. But I don't know, does Lars look a little bit warpy? I'm trying to get a grasp from his view. A little jumpy, perhaps.
Either way, I feel like that's not really the issue for Ty. It's because if we look at the way Ty's been playing, all of the kind of decisions he's been making have been more just winning fights. He hasn't been thinking hugely about some of the engagements and some of the positions. Like, he's been just putting himself in spots where, okay, maybe he can win the fight if he hits more than his opponent. And okay, if you take that for what it is, the statement that it is, then you can say, oh well, that's FPS games. But you can get a lot more advantages, and he's not really, I don't think, thinking about those as much as he could. And I feel like that's the where he's falling short right now.
And we are going to see a bit of a self-exchange, but even that exchange just prior to that, had he hit all the 3 railguns, he would have got the frag, but of course missed all 3, so again, like you said, just really only playing that single game, and again, almost like what we spoke about last map, just playing in the moment and not really thinking anything further than that, and that's going to be a nice little cheeky air rocket. But quite a straightforward game here for Lars at the moment, but it's not unrecoverable. if you add two evenly matched players here on Toxicity, this would be a usual score difference and a 11 frag deficit. If you're in a position to take someone like Lars out, is you can come back from. But
and this is also one of those situations I was mentioning before with the tempo control. Lars is able to basically win this game by letting his opponent undo himself, because with the way Ty is playing, Lars doesn't need to find fights, he doesn't need to find good positions, because if someone's attacking into you, you're usually in a good position because they are moving predictably to enter into an engagement, so you get easier shots. And by playing passively, Lars is able to capitalize on this and have a lot of way more efficient engagements than Ty, and that is, I think, really where his frag difference is coming from. And it does seem also that Ty is getting somewhat frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, you're just watching Lars play at the moment. He's not always charging toward Ty, like you said. He's just backing to the items and just dealing damage because Ty's just coming at him. I mean, there's a red armor for Ty, so maybe he can make some frags happen. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to win the game back, I feel, but the Mega Health will go to Lars there. But if you can get 1 or 2 on the board, a few more, bring that up to 6 or 7 maybe, he'll feel a little bit more comfortable at the end of this map. But there comes another one. Back onto Ty for a little bit. He has quite the stack, probably the most he's had so far this map.
Yeah, if he wants to at least, I mean, you should never really be thinking too much about the score unless you know, it's the last 4 minutes or so, and it depends on the map as well. But you want to try like isolate each decision for each decision, so you can always make the best case and not be too desperate. Ty's in a position where he could get a lot of frags back, maybe not enough to win the game, but he could, if he makes good decisions, pull this difference back. And attacking into that position against the Rockets with a railgun out, I think that really tells you a lot.
Yeah, he did get the frag eventually. I mean, he had so much. He had full of everything, full rocket, full lightning gun. But I think that is the story of this game, is railgun for Ty. Maybe that's what he's coming to FACEIT to do today. Just hit railguns. Unfortunately, not the percentage he would have liked. I think he's sat around about. I mean, he's got 50%. I have no idea how he's at 50%. But he's hit enough to be there.
Yeah, I mean, if we like want to just isolate that situation there, where Lars was just sitting, because this is what you do when you're out of control on Toxicity. I mean, it's one of the good options that you have. You don't have a lot of options, but it's to stand near that 50 bubble with a rocket launcher, because it's you're forcing your opponent, if they come high to you, to close range, and that's where your rockets are going to really work the best. And there's not a lot of good spots for rockets on the map, but you also have the positioning and the 50 there, and the ability to have the res. So it's a very nice spot, and so it's very standard for Lars to go there. And Ty, he went to just charge that in with rail. Okay, that's not really what you want to do. What you should be doing there is saying, okay, well, I have more stack. I'm going to just accept the fact that I can't really just push in here, because if I do, even if I win the fight, I lose so much stack doing it on average that it's not going to be worth it in the future. Because if you think about the implied frags, the frags that you should get in the future, it's going to be a lot worse because you have lost so much health and armor on that one engagement for that one frag. You could be thinking about the next 5-6 frags. And if he had just worked his way around, gone and said, okay, I'm going to take a terrible position, I'm going to take that red armor, he's going to do a bit of damage to me, but if I trade at least, let's say, I don't know, he does, 50, 60 more damage than I do to him, you recover so easily, and you get the frag, and you get way more frags coming up because you're going to be so healthy. So it's just stubbornness, I think, and lack of patience. Yeah.
I mean, it could also just be a map thing as well, which is something we didn't really touch on there. Maybe it's just a case of Ty doesn't like Toxicity. I mean, his elimination to the final map, maybe all of his preferred maps were taken out of the bat. I mean, I know if I was playing Duel, I'd be getting rid of maps like Sinister, which I haven't played enough of. And Toxicity's been in the pool for ages, so I'm not trying to say that Ty doesn't know how to play Toxicity. Just, some people, their play styles or just preferences in general lean towards certain maps. And that's the case with any game, I guess.
Yeah, it's a map that can really get away from you very quickly. I mean, let's say if you're on Blood Run or Lost World, you can really gather yourself much more easily. If something goes bad, if you get a bit frustrated, you can be like, okay, I know that I have to just take a yellow armor and I can be fine. And I can just take my time, and the pace of the game is much slower. I can recuperate myself. I can think about this. You don't really get a chance to think about stuff very much in Toxicity because it's so fast. So I feel like if you get frustrated on this map, it can really be the end of you because it's so momentum based and you don't get breathing room.
Yeah. Fallen in the chat says, Lars using that lightning gun like a vacuum cleaner, cleaning up the map. I love the LG. I think there's something about hitting 40% lightning gun. I don't know what Lars is hitting at the moment, but, you know, he's 29%. But let's just say you were hitting 40% as my game crashes at the end of the game. It's just the beep is just therapeutic, I find. But, yeah, that's going to be final score. I don't know, but Lars taking that map away.
Yep, I mean, not much more to say than was already said, I think. I think we covered it pretty well. I actually remember the point that I wanted to make after the previous
I forgot
break.
about that. Yeah.
I still remember it. So I'm going to see if we have time to bring it in.
Just go for it now. We might as well if you want.
All right. So I'll quickly touch on it and expand on it later. Something that we talked about earlier was the concept of having players who necessarily are very in the moment players, very explosive players. I feel like this is one of the reasons why games like which have more coaching possible, like CS, can be quite interesting, because you get those players, they do kind of retarded stuff sometimes, but they're so good that they actually make it work. And it's actually the job of their coach to tell them, or their in-game leaders to tell them what to do. And that is a really interesting dynamic. I think we'll talk about that later, because we should go to a break now, because the next game is actually ready. It's going to be Inns and Hron, which should be a really nice match. So guys, stay tuned for Inns and Hron. It'll be coming up after this break.
See you soon.